and I'm going to come at this a bit different angle than anybody else in the room probably. Just for a bit of background, I was accepted to a seminary overseas and I almost went. My biggest mentor in life is someone with a degree in theology from Oxford. And my thing is that, you know, I don't want to get into like huge theological discussion, but there are verses in the Bible in which Jesus heals a gay man. It's been covered up, but believe me here. I was just talking with the Reverend about it. So Hamline's affiliated with the Methodist Church, and the local Methodist Church has opposed the marriage amendment. So to me, it's, you know, I wouldn't necessarily really pen this as a religious issue myself. It's a civil rights issue. But Christian theology deals quite extensively with civil rights. And Jesus wasn't really a big fan of people being treated as second-class citizens. And the thing is that not only does the Methodist Church oppose this, probably the second largest population of practicing Christians on campus would be Lutherans, of which many are probably Evangelical Lutheran Church of America followers. The ELCA has also opposed this quite extensively. And my big thing is that it's not just the Methodist Church, it's Christian theology. And I have heard nobody even mention Christianity being factored into this. So I mean, if it's really not that big of a part, I think Hamline should either give up its Methodist affiliation or it should be stripped of it. There's no evidence in the Bible or in even the teachings of John Wesley, who you quoted in your letter, about political inquiry to suggest that this is the right decision by Christ. You know, I'm just really not getting how you believe in action. You know, and I say this to the Board of Trustees too, as to how you can interpret the Bible as a call to neutrality in inaction.
First of all, I can assure you that the position of the Methodist Conference here in Minnesota, that was very much on our minds as part of the discussion, part of the decision. A little bit of background, since you brought up theology. For 9 years, I served as vice president at Seattle University, a Catholic institution, Jesuit institution. And one of the things that I learned there is that it's a treacherous road to begin to hang institutional policy decision-making on any part of theology anywhere. In fact, I remember at one point, we had quite a debate. And as you know the history as a theology student, you know the history of the Jesuits. Intellectuals to their core.
They also tortured people.
They also tortured people. They did all kinds of things. They also went out against the Pope. They did all sorts of things. But even in that, my point is that even among that community, there was a lot of discussion, much like what we're having here today, which is like, how can you say that you're Catholic and do X, Y, or Z?
Okay.
Don't, let me finish. I heard you made some very good points. So for Hamline's community, everyone in this room and lots of people who are not here, our community is about 5,000 people who come here during the course of the week to teach or to study or to work as a member of the staff. We have people of all religious persuasions and all beliefs and no beliefs. And so for me, while I understand the argument of, yes, we could have stood on that, we could have stood on the Minnesota Conference United Methodist Church's stand, we are a university first and foremost. And so the reason I quoted John Wesley, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I actually, as a student, when I was working my way through college, worked for the religion department, and one of them was a Wesley scholar. So I learned a lot about Wesley before I ever heard of Hamline University. But my point in including the quote is that the very act of inquiry is sacred. And if we hold on to, what are we doing right now? We are inquiring, we are asking questions, we are demanding answers, we are making comments, and we all have a right to do that. So the decision, in terms of we should be stripped of our Minnesota, that's not a decision that will ever be made at Hamline University, because it was founded by Methodist pioneers. That is our history. That is our founding. We do have that connection, that affiliation. But we have, on the third floor of this very building, a space where anyone from any religion could find a place to pray, to meditate, to be. And so, again, I think it's another expression of our living and walking our talk with regard to diversity. And I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you didn't go to the seminary there. Maybe seminary comes next. Sometime I'd love to have a conversation about John Wesley. Next.
You didn't actually answer my question, and
I understand, but you've had some time, and I think we need to. We've got many people behind you.
Is it okay with you guys? Thank you. A lot of us aren't inquiring about anything. We're saying this is civil rights. The Bible says it's civil rights. Do you disagree?
No, I'm not going to respond to that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Because think about, as a student of theology and as a student of history, think about how many things have been done in the name of religion. Think about that. Please, next person.
Yeah,
Pass the mic. I don't want to cut off anybody at the end because our time. Pardon? No, absolutely not. That's my point. That's my point. We're not doing this in the name of religion. It was not a factor.
My name is Mark Tilson. My grandfather Ken taught at the law school here, and there's some questions that I didn't really know even to ask because I assumed until this day. What historically has been Hamline's stance on apartheid, on the Civil Rights Acts, women's suffrage, slavery? Are you proud of these? And how is this different than any of that tradition?
I was in college between 1968 and 1972. And you all know what was going on in our country in 1962 to 1968 to 1972. I don't know that Hamline at the time that those activities were going on, that those very, very important civil rights issues were being discussed. I don't know historically whether Hamline stood out and took a stand and said, this is where we are. I do know that through practice, and I do know that through inculcation and through what alumni tell me, that Hamline has done and has always tried to do, and we are trying desperately now, do the right thing. I know some of you, many of you don't think that we're trying to do the right thing. But this is so important that all voices be heard. It is the essence of diversity. It is the essence of what we do as a university. Some people even wrote to me and said, 20 years from now, when this is not going to be an issue, how are you going to feel? I mean, these are appropriate questions to be asked.